What's up guys, Phantom here back with episode 70 of my F1 2019 career mode as we are going to circuit Monaco for the Monaco Grand Prix for round 6 of season 4 here. As you can see, we are still in the mid-pack there as Haas is kind of slowly caught up to us there with Red Bull, as we still have that ultimate upgrade for weight reduction coming at Canada as we will move on to qualifying.
Here we are at one of the most difficult circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula One qualifying. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction, and over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong, and that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
As we start out here in Q1 after making it out of Q1 last time at Spain for the first time all season, as we will come to the start-finish line here to start our flying lap here at Monaco, the most treacherous track on the calendar, as we have not qualified particularly well in our career here. I don't think we've ever made it out of Q1 here. So as we will come across the line, we will be in P12 for Q1, and we are actually ahead of our teammate Ricardo there, as he's barely got into qualifying one, as we knock out one of the Red Bulls of Sainz, as we will move on to Q2 here, as we will come through low Rascas here as we get the DRS here for the very short front stretch here, as we take a little bit wider line to open up our angle there, as Kvyat is coming out of the pit, so he will hurt us a little bit here as we are catching up to him, as it is starting to rain here a little bit, as it's going to rain for the rest of the session here, as we will get a DRS slipstream on Kvyat, but we will only be P12 as our teammate Ricardo will be P5 there, so we will not make it into Q3 as we will go to the race.
Motor racing has come a long way since the first Grand Prix of the early 20th century. We have faster cars, bigger circuits, highly trained drivers who've dedicated their lives to racing. But still, we return here. Still, it remains the most desired victory in Formula One. Still, we race the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco then, it's not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo, and although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Can we talk about Toro Rosso? They've had just one retirement in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
It's a good statistic for sure, as it demonstrates not only mechanical reliability, but consistency from both drivers as well. These are 2 of the first boxes you have to tick for any successful season.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, with Lance Stroll alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Butler, Daniel Ricciardo and Leclerc, Hamilton, Kvyat, Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg, Verstappen, Oldtimer, Lucas Faber and Perez, Raikkonen, Vettel, Valtteri Bottas and Roman Grosjean. Albon and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
As we sit here on the grid in P12 here at Monaco, the most treacherous track on the calendar, as the 5 lights are on and they are away, as we're immediately cut to the inside there, as we want the inside for this corner here at Sandoval there as we go down the inside, and then we kind of cut it to not get sideswiped by Kvyat there as we have managed to survive turn 1 there. As we look on the replay here, as we kind of just don't get cut off there, as Hulkenberg actually lost his front wing there in the Williams, so he will be super slow for everybody behind him, and so we will basically have an entire pit stop over him, with him being in the slowest car. As we come down to Mirabeau here, as everybody's stacking up here into the hairpin, as we're going to look down the inside here of Kvyat there and kind of use Leclerc as a turning mechanism there. As you can see here, we are just kind of all stacking up here as we make a move to the inside there, hop over the curb, and get around the corner.
Engine is showing small signs of wear. Power output will be down.
As Jeff has just told us, our power unit is a little bit damaged or worn, as this is Monaco, so I really didn't want to change it and get a grid penalty here, as we can just defend for the rest of the race here, as everybody will actually stack up in front of us, so we should be pretty safe here as we are kind of hopping over the corners here as we are coming into the pits at the end of this lap here. So we turn and make sure not to speed, as we are good, as we will put on a pair of medium tires here as we stop. Make sure not to fluff the exit, and there we go, as that was a 2.1 second pit stop there, as we almost got a penalty there for leaving the track there. As you can just see, we managed to get out of Hulkenberg there, as a good amount of cars are leaving here, including our teammate Ricardo here, as we really want to get ahead of him here, as we are down on power, so this might cost us a little bit here, as we are just pushing him up the hill, as we are trying to compromise him. As we hit the wall slightly, now we hit him slightly, as he's really slow on these new tires here. We're going to throw it down the inside there, and he just gives us the squeeze there. There was really no room, but we were going to go around the outside here of the hairpin, as we are really, he's kind of pushed us there a little bit, as we've managed to get around the corner there, as that was probably not ideal to do with your teammate, but I was pretty desperate to get ahead of him, as with our damaged engine, we weren't going to really be able to overtake him here. As you come into the hairpin, he's actually lost a bit of his end plate there on the right, as he will now be super slow there, as he will now back up. Even with our damaged engine, he will not be able to get to us and attack, as Verstappen has pitted now from his medium tires onto softs there. As you can see, he is up into fifth position there. But as we come on to the end of the race, Lance Stroll out of all cars to win. Lance Stroll has won a race, as we will come across the line to finish 6th.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders, who lose ground at the top of the table. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improve their position in the championship. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.